I loved Christmas growing up. My favorite with church and stuff, it was always like we had a candlelight thing where everybody would get a candle and like you go in there, you light it up at whatever at night. I haven't really participated since I became a mom, just keeping kids up that late. But as you get older, yeah, when you lose people, either they've passed away or they're moved away or whatever, it's just not the same anymore. And so it kind of got really hard for me to get in the Christmas spirit once I became a parent. Like when I was the one who was the one that had to provide the joy and the happy and like the traditions and stuff like that. A few years ago, I decided I was going to make a gingerbread cookie with the girls because it was like the Christmas traditional cookie that you could find online or whatever. So I remember we didn't even have an island then, so we just had like a little kids table, like it was like this tall, and so we're like rolling out on that, and that started getting us in the Christmas spirit. And then I just started making too many, and then I started selling them or giving them as gifts. And then 2 years ago was the first time we started selling them. Been doing it for like 6 years now, 7 years. I don't know, sometimes you just have to force it for the people around you, or you're just gonna be miserable every single holiday. And like, even with kids, like that kind of does force your hand a little bit to make it special for them. I saw this thing on TikTok. This girl was like, I feel like we all had that one special holiday, that one special Christmas, and we're chasing that high ever since. So we're always trying to make it happen. But it's hard, but it can be fun if you find the fun. I remember when we first moved down here, it was like a lot of horrible stuff happened in Monroe, and we had to come down here for Garrett to find work. Because I was the one working, and he wasn't. He was staying at home with Parker at the time, and she was like 2. I lost my job, found out I was pregnant with Parker, or Elliot, my youngest. And so we moved down here. We had no money, and so we had a little tree this big. And so we're trying to make it special for Parker, but it was like this neon green, tiny, like, it was atrocious, but we made it work, And so we got whatever, it was back when Toys R Us was still here, and we got whatever we could for her. And we were happy, just distracting ourselves from everything to make it special for her, and in turn made it special for us. And so I'll always remember that Christmas. Every year we've gotten a little bit bigger of a tree until we could afford getting a real tree and like just putting aside the budget so that we could make sure that we got a real tree no matter the mess. We still had the smell. It just like brought the nostalgia into the house. And so that makes me really happy that I look back on that picture. She was 2.5, she's 10 now. Just this teeny tiny little tree and this one little stocking that it was like this big of a stocking, and now we give her a bigger one. But it's amazing. Back then she was like all into dinosaurs, and now this year she's all into art. So she got a desk, she got a chair, and all these art supplies. We could have never afforded that back then, and now we can. So it's definitely gotten better. I would say like it's okay to have a bad Christmas. It's okay to have a bad season. If this year was not great for you, if you were alone, someone was out of town, or someone has recently passed, there's always next year to try again. Also, trying not to make it about you. If you continue thinking like, I'm alone, I am missing this person, I don't have the funds for this, it's gonna make it off. You're never going to get past that. You're going to be that every single year if you're not trying to think about others. And I think that's really what people need to understand. This season is about others. So for like our church, there's so many opportunities to volunteer. Like during to Bethlehem, you might get a donkey and you can go maybe get taken down the street or something, have another story. But it's also making it about being with your community is another thing that you can do. And instead of just sitting in woe is me land at home by yourself. But that's the best thing, just not make it about yourself. And that's a hard thing to do as well, because a lot of people like to sit in self-pity, which I've been there. I've spent years of just like feeling sorry for myself. Like my grandparents aren't here, that they had everything, all the food that they knew how to make, they never taught us how to make it. And I should have made a point to like learn. And so now I'm like chasing that, like trying to find that every holiday, like what spice am I missing? Am I adding something wrong? Did I not whip something long enough? So it's kind of become a game where it's not as serious as it used to be. But just know that holidays are hard for most people. You're not alone in struggling during the holidays.